All right. Let's see if this works. And there's 4 people. All right, am I audible now? I have a way to check, but it's kind of a pain in the neck. Yay, I have no idea why that happened. Thank you, guys. All right, thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so I have no idea if my original idea is going to work. So we'll try it again. This may have been what killed my sound in the first place. Can you still hear me? All right, so you don't really need to know these technical details, but when you set up a YouTube live stream, the computer that you're on when you set it up automatically chooses certain settings based on where you are. And I set up that live stream at work. Something about the way my computer was set at that point didn't work out. I apologize. Thanks for your patience. We're going to get started. Today's workout has a theme, so I'm going to bow in, do an introduction, and then we're going to get started, okay? Good evening. My name is Sensei Chris Spaglieri, and welcome to KidSafe Online. Today's online workout is dedicated to those students who are practicing martial artists, and they address a very old problem in the martial arts, which is how to make your workouts at home, how to make your practice a little more fun, a little more interesting, so that you'll actually practice. Because we all know, the more you practice, the better you get. And sitting on the couch isn't going to help anybody. So today's goal is to think of ways to get off the couch and actually practice. All right, we're going to bow in together. Student code, respect, integrity, perseverance, discipline, pride. And we bow. All right, and the first thing you do is, when you're working out on your own, is do something different than your standard warm-up in class. Sometimes it helps to go through what you're used to. Sometimes it helps to do something a little different. So if you normally jog in place or do jumping jacks, do something different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite everybody there to do something aerobic, something that's a little bit of an exercise right where you are. You can do your sit-ups or push-ups. You can do jumping jacks. You can do skipping rope. I can't do a lot of those things because I actually have a knee injury. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some isometrics to warm up. I'm going to start off by just squeezing and relaxing my hands. Then I'm going to start off by making circles with my wrists. Now I'm going to tense my arms as if I was lifting a weight. Just warming up the muscles in my hands and arms, tightening the muscles almost like you're resisting your own muscles. Okay? And let's try that outwards, inwards, outwards, tense everything, like you're pushing 2 walls apart, inwards, outwards. Now grab an imaginary barbell and tighten your shoulder muscles and struggle as if to raise it, but what you're actually doing is resisting your own muscle power. Okay, and down, and up, and down, and up. Okay, let's continue our upper body warm-up by shaking your wrists, shaking your elbows, rotating your shoulders. And let's continue by crossing. Okay, and lifting the shoulders and tensing all these muscles, and then dropping and letting everything relax. Lifting and dropping, letting everything relax. Breathe in and out. Good. Roll in the head. Make a big circle. And reverse. All right. Stretch one arm all the way out and bring your head to the other side, stretching these neck muscles out. Good. Stretching the other arm. All right, now we're down to our core, where I want you to be reaching. So let's do some aerobic style reaching exercises, and then we're going to shift those into martial arts. For some exercises, it might be useful and fun on your own or in class to use some music. So let some things play in the background. So we're going to reach over our head, stretch, 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 stretch. Now make a fist. Punch, 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 punch. Now aim lower. Punch, 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 punch. Try to twist around and punch backwards behind you. Good. Continuing our motion by stretching our upper body and our trunks. Let's do elbow strikes. Elbow strike. Switch, 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 switch. All right. Now let's do upwards and downwards elbows. One elbow goes up, the other elbow goes back. Switch, 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 switch. Good. All right. Loosening up our hips. What I want you to do now is spread your feet out on the floor, turning your hips to one side, pushing forward over one foot. Switch. 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 What I'm doing is pushing my hip out, locking my knee. Switch. Switch. All right, feet apart, toes out, and we're going to squat, and up, and squat, and up. Try to keep your body straight up and down. Squat, and up, squat, and this time hold. And 9, 8, hold it down, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. All right. If you need some help balancing on something, put your hand on a wall or something to balance on. Pull your heel in. It'll lower the volume down a little bit. All right. Stretching out the quadricep, the front muscle in your leg. Good. If you've got something to lean on, use a wall. See about stretching a roundhouse kick so that it goes out to one side. If you look behind me, I've got my toe pointed and my heel pulled into the back of my body. Okay, my foot position on the floor for my other leg is that my knee is turned. My knee is bent and my toes are turned. Good. Good. While we're here, let's warm up these leg muscles. You've got something to hang on to? Great. Out and back, out and back, out and back. Try letting go of your wall and out and hold. And back. And we're going to stretch out our hips a little bit after that one because if you did that right, it should be nice and tight. Big circles. Reverse. All right. See if you can get something to lean on the other side. Let's repeat that stretch on the other side. Bringing your heel to your back side and bringing your knee out in roundhouse kick position. And again, turning your supporting leg and bending your knee. Adjust this outfit. Okay. Oh, I didn't know there were words to this. Take out, back, take out, and back, take out, and back, take out, and hold. So you can do it on one foot. And bring it down. All right. I'm going to move this again for a little bit. So we stretched out our hips and the front of our legs. let's find a fun way to stretch out the backs of our legs. This one of my, Ankush says I am frozen. Anyone else text in? Are we still streaming? I'll wait until I get a yes. Knock something off the Wi-Fi and see if I can. Okay, so there's a couple of demands on my Wi-Fi today. I'm going to try and minimize that. All right, so we've done our hips and our quads. We're going to stretch out the backs of our legs. Here's one that we used to do in class a lot. It's not a good exercise to do every time you do class, but it's as a once in a while thing, it's not a bad idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a knee up. Okay, and then we're going to stretch back and lift. So we're going to use these back muscles in the back of our legs to lift. So best way to do this, if you have the opportunity to do this, is to lean on something that's directly in front of you or that's nearby in front of you. But if you can't lean, you can do it standing on one foot if you're careful. You're going to bring the front knee up. You're going to straighten your leg behind you and lift. Bring your front knee up, straight behind you and lift. I'm just turning to face the camera. Knee up, back kick, and lift. Knee up, back kick, and lift. Good. Other side. Knee up, kick straight back along that imaginary line on the floor, and lift. Good. Knee up, straight back kick, and lift. Whee. All right. Feet apart on the floor. Push your knees back so your legs are straight. And what you're going to do is slide down. Put your hands on the floor. And walk your hands over to your right foot and breathe. Walk your hands over to your left foot and breathe. Let's see. Pointing one foot out. Keeping your knee pushed back, but gently sliding down. You might recognize this as a yoga pose. Okay, the other side. So this foot turns forward. This foot turns out. I cannot straighten this knee properly on this side, so I'm just going to do my best. Knee injury that I'm taking care of right now. Good. All right, so, there goes that knee. Should be pretty well loosened up. So now I'm going to start to talk about some things that you can start to do at home to make your warm-up or your practice a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit less repetitive. Okay? So what we're going to do to start out with is we're going to play a really simple game. We're going to call each of our basic strikes by a number. Okay? So let's start off by punching. We'll just call these number 1. Okay? Good. And so straight punches, number 1. Get into stance. Hut, 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 hut. Number 2 is back fist, just as always. Hut, 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 hut. Try and go all the way out. Come back to your groin. Hut, 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 hut. 3 is hammer fist. Hut, 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 hut. 4 is vertical punch. Same as a horizontal punch, except we're going to turn our fist vertically. Good. All right. Now, here's the fun part. What I want you to do is find a way of choosing a number from 1 to 4 randomly. You don't have to do this now. I'll do it now in the workout, but at home, you have to find a random way to do that. A great way to do that is to take a deck of cards and just use the numbers, or Uno cards, ace, 2, 3, 4, What you're going to do is you're going to take those cards and you're going to shuffle them up. And based on the order of those cards, you're going to do your striking techniques. So if I deal out 5 cards in a row, the cards are, let's just do 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. What would that look like? Well, we just did them in order. Let's do them again. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Basic strikes, right? But what if you do them in a different order? Just to make life easy, we're going to do 2 of each. Let's do 4 of each strike. But I'm going to call out a different number randomly, and you have to switch from one to the next, okay? So you can do this at home with someone just calling out numbers on the cards. Now, you notice I only used 4, but we actually have 12 or 13 different strikes. So a deck of cards works really well as long as you can remember which one is which. But we're only going to do the first 4, and then we'll make it more interesting. So let's start off chamber position, and I'm going to call up a number, okay? 2. Back fists. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Straight punches. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. Back fist. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Vertical punches. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Straight punches. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how this goes? All right. So now I'm going to call up the numbers without necessarily saying which strike is which. I'll start doing them so you can copy me if you want to go along. I'm also going to put my music back on and see if we can do this to music, because most of these games with some kind of beat going on in the background. Okay? I'm going to go to the end of this song because I don't like that song though. Ready? All right, let's start off with 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2. So you can see it gets pretty fast, right? All right. Let's make it a little bit more interesting, okay? Let's take those 4 strikes and pair them with 4 blocks, okay? Or add 4 blocks. So let's do a quick review of our blocks and give them numbers. Pretty obvious, right? We've got block number 1, block number 2, inside block number 3, outside block number 4, lower block. If you are an advanced student, please do these blocks two-handed. Block number 1, block number 2, block number 3, block number 4. All right, if you're white belt, yellow belt, just do the one-handed versions of the blocks. So 1 side block, 2 is inside block, 3 is outside block, and 4 is lower block. Now, if I had 2 different decks of cards, I could then mix them up. So we could do block number 1, strike number 1, block number 2, strike number 2, back fist, block number 3, strike number 3, hammer fist. Just to make life easier, I'm blocking with one hand and countering with the other hand. So let's just keep doing that. Block number 4, strike number 4. Excellent. Did anybody get them all? All right. What if I were to mix them up? Now I need a 2-digit number. Okay, so I need to say a number from 1 to 4 and a number from 1 to 4. What if I said 22? That would be block number 2, strike number 2. Inside block, back fist. Do it again. Inside block, back fist. Again, inside block, back fist. You notice that when I do my back fist, I move my body off center. You could just face front and do a neutral stance if you find that confusing, and start off in closed guard position, which is much more neutral. So let's do block number 4, lower block. Strike number 1, straight punch. Again, block number 4, lower block. Strike number 1, punch. Excellent. What if I said 42? Same block, different counter, back fist. Good. What if I said 32? Outer block. Sorry, I did the wrong one. Outer block, hammer fist. No, 32. Block number 3, strike number 3, which would be hammer fist. Good. Quick review. Block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, strike 4. Let's see if we can pair them up. Ready? Block number 3, out of block. Strike number 3, hammer fist. Excellent. Block number 1, high block. Strike number 1, reverse punch. Good. Try it again. 1, 3. High block, hammer fist. Good. 1, 4. High block, vertical punch. Excellent. Awesome. You can continue this game and add as much complexity as you want. So if we had another stack of random cards and random numbers, we could add kicks. We're not going to do that today because it's a little too confusing to be following me doing it. But what I am going to do is play a quick random game with you guys that you do know and that you don't need a whole lot of help with. Everybody here should know combination number 1 and combination 2. So let's practice those, and then we'll do a little variation on them, okay? You can do, you're practicing on your own, is take your standard combinations and mess around with them a little bit, okay? And I'm going to let you guys help me do that. But let's start off in a defensive stance with first combination. Kick, punch, reverse punch. All right? Kick, punch, ki. Sound is not really helping me right now. Ready? Kick, punch, ki. Beautiful. Let's try the other side. Switch feet. Kick, punch, ki. One more time. Kick, punch, ki. Fantastic. All right. Now we're going to make it a little more interesting. What we're going to do is do the same exact combination, but each time we do it, we're going to modify one technique. So somebody, anybody who can get to their text, pick another kick rather than front kick. So you got 4 other choices. We do about 5 different kicks. I'll wait until somebody chooses a different kick. We can do front kick, we can do roundhouse kick, we can do side kick, we can do crescent kick, we can do reverse crescent kick. Nobody listening. Oh, you hurt me emotionally. I'm going to pick my own number in a minute. Just seeing whether or not my texts are working. Okay. Let's take first combination, modified, and we're going to do it with crescent kick. Okay. Starting off with, put your kicking leg behind you. So my right leg is going to kick. We're going to pretend there is an imaginary object. I have a real object in front of you. Don't do this with a real thing. You're going to kick over the object and freeze right there. So let's go behind you, over an imaginary object with toe up, and stop in a kicking stance on this side. Then take a step forward. One more time. Crescent kick, step forward. Fantastic. Except now that we're going to combine that with first combination. Remember I said we're just going to change one move. So it's crescent kick, then step forward, punch, reverse punch. Rewind, do it again. Rear leg, crescent kick, punch, reverse punch. Fantastic. One more time on this side. Right leg is behind us, right leg is kicking. Crescent kick, punch, reverse punch. Excellent. You jump in. We'll do that next. All right, other leg. Putting your left leg behind you. Left leg is now kicking. Let's just do one practice kick. Picture an object on the ground in front of you, and what you're going to do is lift that leg over the object, stopping in a kicking stance, facing one direction, stepping forward. One more time. Rear leg, crescent kick, stepping forward. And just for those who don't really know this kick that well, I'm going to say the name more carefully, crescent kick. A crescent is a half circle. And that's exactly what I'm doing with my rear leg. Stepping forward. Crescent kick, step forward, punch, reverse punch. Beautiful. Do it again. Crescent kick, step forward, punch, reverse punch. Excellent. All right. We have a request here. Ankush requested that we do a combination with roundhouse kick. Now, we've already done first combination, punch, reverse punch, a couple of different ways. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. Let's start off with second combination. We'll start with the roundhouse kick, and then we're going to change the hand technique. So we're going to do second combination the way we all learned it, and then instead of changing the foot technique, we're going to keep the roundhouse kick and do a hand technique. So let's all start off in a side stance. If you have room, do your combination going sideways because it'll be a little bit easier later on. I also want to illustrate proper form for second combination. So to start off, I'm in a guard. So my guard is on the side of my body. I'm looking sideways. I'm going to do this. Look sideways, shifting my body so that I'm up on the ball, up on the toes of my front foot. Boom. Tiger stance. Loading that foot to my behind, bringing it behind me so my knee is pointing at that target that I'm aiming at. One more time. Tiger stance. Load. Roundhouse kick. Stepping down. Tiger stance. Load. Roundhouse kick. All right, now I'm going to face front so we can do the whole combination. Ready? Tiger stance. Load. Roundhouse kick. As we come down, back fist. Pivoting our body, reverse punch. One more time, and then we're going to mess around with the combination. Ready? Roundhouse kick. I got to be careful about that. My knee is not doing a very good job of supporting me, but when you don't take your stance properly, you end up with a roundhouse kick that goes up. And I don't really want that to be happening with me. It's kind of a bad example. So I'm going to try for my usual horizontal roundhouse kick, but I'm going to name it lower. Tiger stance, chamber, roundhouse kick, back fist, reverse punch. Now, I'm looking for a suggestion. Yay. Looking for a suggestion. What hand techniques can we try after the roundhouse kick? So instead of roundhouse kick, back fist, reverse punch, what would be an interesting hand technique? Anybody can pick one. First person to text wins. Chop. All right. We're going to use both of those suggestions. We're going to do roundhouse kick, chop, elbow strike. Okay. Side stance. Since this is a more of an advanced combination, we're going to take more of a sparring stance. Side stance. Roundhouse kick. Here's my chop. Coming straight towards the side of someone. Good. But that gets blocked. I'm going to grab their head. I'm going to hit with my other elbow. So we've got a roundhouse kick this side. Chop coming from the other side, coming around behind their head, elbow strike. One more time, side stance, roundhouse kick, chop, yeah, fantastic. All right, I turned my music down because it was annoying me, but let's try this on the other side with a little bit of musical accompaniment. I hate martial arts, I hate workout music that's got words. That'll work. Ready? Left leg forward, roundhouse kick, chop, elbow strike. Again, roundhouse kick, chop, elbow strike. One more time. Roundhouse kick, chop, yeah. Fantastic. Beautiful job. All right. So we can play this game all day long, but we're going to do one more game before we quit for today. Before we change gears and go off into our Zoom lesson today. This is a favorite game of mine. What we're going to do is we're going to take the first this is kind of meant to be an all ranks workout, guys. So it is moving a little fast for beginners. We will have some beginner time at the beginning of the Zoom to check in with people and see how they're doing. So thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your kata, first few moves of your kata, and practice them the way you know them, okay? So if you're doing I-form kata, then the first moves of your kata are going to be a left lower block and then a punch. And then you're going to go to the other side, right lower block, and then a punch. Let's face forward and not continue the kata. All right, now it's really simple. Substitute for either of those moves any blocking technique you know. I'm going to do high block, but you can do any block you want. The only thing you need to do is follow along with us in terms of which foot you're going to use. So I'm going to step to my left and do a high block, and then step forward and punch. Then rewind to the middle. Then I'm going to step to my right and do a high block, step forward and punch. Good. So obviously the next change, the next modification that you can make to your kata is modify the strike. So for those of you who this is about as confused as you want to be, continue to do the punch. But everybody who wants to add a little bit of complexity or interest to it, instead of high block and punch, do high block and some other strike. I'm going to do high block, pressing block, vertical punch. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so stepping to the left, high block, and do your block, do your striking move. Good. Stepping to the right, high block, and do your striking move. Good. You want to have a little bit of fun? Step towards the camera and do your high block. And then step forward with 3 of those strikes. Excellent. All right. So you see the point of making. If you're a beginner and you're doing the kid safe kata, this works just as well. I mean, I'd like everybody to follow along with us while we do a beginner modified kata. That means if you're used to doing 8 blocks, 4 walls, or kata number 1, where you're just going to do, I'm going to stand here so that we're trying in the correct direction. Right block, left block, turn right, right block, left block, and turn, and so on and so forth throughout your kata. Very simple. All I'm going to ask you to do is add a kick after each block. Okay, so it's the block cut. It's the kata that you're used to doing, except now do your normal high block and add a kick. If you want to, you can add the reverse punch, which makes it kata number 3. But stepping back, high block, kick, turn. Inside block, you can either add a front kick or add another kick, roundhouse kick. Stepping back, inside block, roundhouse kick, and turning. Outside block, you can go with side kick. Stepping back, outside block, side kick, and turn. Lower block, thrust kick. And stepping back, lower block, thrust kick. And turn. It's really hard for me not to just do kata number 3, but I wanted to just illustrate. These are terrible martial arts workout musics. I have to listen to the whole playlist next time. All right. So we've talked about how to work on your strikes, how to modify your warm-up using music or something else to jazz up your home practice. Now I want to talk about one last thing, which is the most useful thing that you can do at home, which is way more fun than anything that I've said so far in terms of practicing your technique, is to take your technique and use some kind of target. There are a lot of ways to use targets that are safer to do at home. The best one is probably to get somebody who you trust, a brother, sister who's going to be responsible, not like someone you fight with too much, older person, a parent, to hold your target and let you practice your kata or your combinations against the target. Well, I have one of these, but not everybody has one of these. You could also use a couch cushion. Okay. You could also use a laundry bag full of towels. Just make sure that if you're going to use a bag stuffed with stuff, that it's not the kind of bag that has like zippers or metal fittings on the outside. So I like laundry bags because usually they just have a pull string and it's all soft. So a laundry bag full of stuff. Make sure you have someone who's willing to stand there and hold it for you for at least 5 or 10 minutes. If it's a brother or sister and you're both in karate class, maybe you can take turns holding for one another. If you don't have a really big target, you can use a really small target. And there's another kind of target that you can use. So this is just an example, but I want to talk while I'm setting it up about some of the do's and don'ts of this whole practice thing. Is every martial arts student at some point in their practice practices against the target that they probably shouldn't have, okay? And my rule is you don't want to hit anything harder than you are. So my bones are not as hard as I think they are. So I don't want to hit something harder than me. I don't want to hit, so sometimes people have these plastic striking targets, okay? That's great for karate demonstrations, but that's not for practice. You don't practice by striking something hard. And the reason you don't practice, here's the classic bad example. The reason you don't practice by striking something hard is because even though I'm perfectly capable of hitting this without hurting myself, I've had a lot of practice at it. But if you actually do that when you shouldn't, like you're home and you're hitting a tree or some other silly thing, then what you're going to train yourself to do is to hit not as hard as you should, because you're going to be hurting yourself. So what you want to do is pick things that are softer than you are. Now, another issue with hitting targets is you can choose targets, or you can create a target that's not hard at all and that just moves. So now I've got a target that moves, okay? I'm not trying to hit it super hard. I'm not trying to send it flying. I'm not trying to knock it over. All I'm trying to do is keep it moving. So I could hang a tennis ball. Okay? I like tennis ball targets. You got to be really careful about where you do it. You got to get some grown-up help to hang it in a room where it's not going to be interfering with anything else in the room. Here's another classic target. I'm going to ruin this belt by doing this, but I said we're going to have some fun. So let's see if I can do this. Oh, that didn't work. So I'm going to tie a knot in the end of this belt. I'm going to throw it over. You can't see it, but I've actually got a rail on the ceiling. Boom. There we go. And I'm going to bring this down here. So now I've got this hanging target. Okay? So what can I do with a hanging target? Well, I can practice hitting it with my hand techniques. I didn't tie it up. If you have some place to do that, just make sure that the rope that's hanging can't swing far enough to hit anything in your room. Okay? But the best moving target of all moving targets to practice with is having someone actually hold a target. They can hold that pillow that we were talking before, only it can be a smaller pillow. It could be, maybe a throw pillow, not this, something softer, okay? So hitting a moving target is probably the most fun karate trick. And before we go today, I'm going to teach you a horrible karate trick. It's horrible because it creates a terrible mess when you're first learning how to do it. And when you get kind of cool at it, it's a lot of fun. This is to practice hand speed, okay? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piggy bank. And I'm going to get a couple of quarters. I'm going to balance a quarter on the back of my hand, just like this, okay? See the quarter? Okay. I'm going to hold my hand straight out to my side, and the goal of this drill is to practice hand speed the same way you would for a back fist, except what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my hand down and try to grab the quarter before it falls. Now, you don't want to do this. That's cheating, okay? You actually want to hold your hand horizontal, pull it down, and grab the quarter before it falls. Now, remember what I said, this drill makes a horrible mess because you send quarters flying all over the world. So make sure you do this somewhere where you're going to be able to get your quarters back. Don't do it outside, and you might use something bigger or heavier than a quarter to start with. Wait a minute, let me get back. So here's my quarter, extending my hand to the side. I've been looking at the camera, which makes it almost impossible, but when I actually look at the quarter, then I can grab it. If you get really good at that, you can start trying to play the game with two hands. They've got a quarter in either hand and go 1, 2. That one I tossed. I cheated on that one. So I haven't done this drill in a long time. If that's too easy for you, you can try stacking 2 quarters. And here's the classic one. This is not so much a martial arts drill. It's just a fun game. If you lift your arm up till it's flat. You balance the quarter on your elbow. You got to catch the quarter when you drop it. And again, practicing coordination and hand speed with both hands. Boom. So if you got that down, try doing it with 1/4 on each elbow. This will be my final trick for the day, after which I'm going to go to Zoom. Okay, I got 1/4 on the back of each elbow. You're going to hear quarters go flying in a minute. Nope, got them both. So that's the idea. Anything that helps you practice coordination and hand speed that's safe is fine. Find fun things to do to work on your hand speed or your foot speed. I can't demonstrate any foot speed today, but any game that's got you, even lines on the floor, are great for practicing foot speed, because you can see, am I moving my body sufficiently? So these are great things to do to work on your practice. Now, we started a little late, so I went a little bit later than I intended to, but I'm going to shut this down. But first, I'm going to issue this week's challenge, which is, I want to see who can come up with the most creative training method, something that you can do to practice at home to make your karate better, that I have not seen, or maybe you do one of the ones that we did in class, but I haven't seen you do it before. Videotape it, or snap a picture if it's something that you can just take a picture of, okay, and get it to me. And that's the challenge for the week. Most creative training method at home. Okay, so if you got a picture of, your mom holding your target for you, that's fine. If you're practicing hand speed with your hanging target, that's fine. If you've got a heavy bag at home, I want to see you punching the boxing bag or the punching bag. That's this week's challenge. Got it? Okay. And last week, the winner of the challenge was on Kush, even though he did the beginner challenge instead of, I guess we did a same challenge for both levels. He did the advanced level of the beginner challenge, so he didn't cheat or anything. This week's challenge, coolest training method at home. Send that to me, or upload a video, or somehow get it to me, or just send me a text and I'll tell you how to get it to me. Okay? In the meantime, it doesn't really matter what you do, whether or not you do your quarters or your targets or your hanging targets or your boxing bag or your jump rope or whatever. It doesn't matter what you do to make your training more fun at home. What matters is that you train. If you don't practice, you not only won't get better, you will eventually start to get worse. Okay? So that's our live stream for today. We're going to bow out. I'm going to switch into a Zoom class, and I'm going to send that link out in just a minute. Attention stance, student oath, strive to be our best, settle for nothing less. Now here, okay, I'm going to give you I'm going to give a quick link to the Zoom class for those of us who are going to join us. I remind you, it is first a beginner check-in for the first 15 or 20 minutes, and then we're going to go to the advanced class. Okay, the Zoom link for today is coming right up. There it is. And there is no password for this Zoom, just so you know. And I've included the meeting ID for anybody who needs that. All right, guys. Thank you for your patience with my sound malfunction. I appreciate it. I will see you all next Monday or in the Zoom class in just a few minutes.